All right, what up? We're here. We're going to talk about Under the Underground and a little bit of our pre-production, production, and post-production. Got Michael R. Santana here, man that had the vision behind that and bringing the script to life. And we're just going to go about some technical stuff of how we got that approach there. So my first question, Mike, is when you get the script, what is the first thing you do when you get the script? We're approaching this. We got Under the Underground. The script comes to you. How do you prep upon seeing the story?
Usually try to think things through cinematically versus what I'm really able to do. You know, you can't be too big. You know, you don't have the resources. So, but how can I do it cinematically still? Because to me, everything should be cinematically, from podcasts to TV shows. So that's what I try to envision, and that's kind of where we came up with that opening scene of the aerial over the drone footage over San Bernardino. You know, try to open it up.
Yeah, we open it in. It kind of gives that big feel effect to it. I get that. Okay. Now I know when I did the script, like I said, there was a few things that I had in my mind that I wanted to do. Of course, we couldn't get done. Like for that was just not on us. We couldn't find any breakers. I wanted to do breakers at that point. Right. But like I think when I'm writing the script at the beginning, it's a little like you have all these ideas, right? You're like, okay, you know, I want to do this and we could do that, and then there. So I think after we get to talking and figuring it out, what can we do? Like you said, what can we actually physically do to make this work? I think that's kind of one of the best parts of storytelling to me. I think, you know what I mean? When you're getting in there, you go, okay, we can't do the B-boys, but we can do something else there. We can kind of write that in the story where they don't affect, or they're not an effect. You know, something like that. I just think that's kind of the creative part on there. What do you think are the benefits from doing short films?
The benefits is you can do whatever you can /want /can. You know what I mean? Right. So to me, that's a benefit. Yeah, you're more free. I
think like you said, I think you can really get in the story of that too. Like, you know what I mean? Like you can really develop a lot of cool stories in the short form, the short film type of aspect. I think you can actually get more creative, I guess, because I think with long form, of course, like a 90-minute or, you know, let's say a 90-minute film, you really have to carry that film the whole way. And with a short film, you can
get in and out. You know what I mean? And the good thing is we had the warehouse, right?
Right.
Obviously, you and 13 had music that we can implement, so that's huge right there. You know, with the stage you rented, all that can be implemented to somewhat of a reality, of our reality. So we just try to transform that into
the actual film. Right. And I thought this film, like I thought the stage part, like gave it a lot of character. Like I know even when I first met Vince. When I first met Vince, that was one of the things he was kind of impressed. Like, yeah, man, you guys brought a real stage. And I thought they gave it a lot of depth to the film in general.
Shout out Vince too.
Yeah, shout out to Vince, my guy. I thought it was actually gave a lot of depth into the film just because it looked underground.
Sure.
You know, show. It looks in a warehouse where it kind of gave us a real authenticity. I can't think of the word.
Authenticity
to it. You know what I mean? As far as the story is concerned, the story is concerned of that, whatever. So I thought that gave it pretty depth. I thought it was in depth in that way, and I thought it was pretty interesting to pull that all together. To find somebody had a stage to do that, I thought it was pretty interesting.
And you rented the stage twice, right?
Yeah, I did. I had to rent the stage twice because the first time nobody showed up, but it kind of worked out. I thought because you were able to cut both clips in of both days, so that kind of worked out.
Yeah, and then, you know, we had the second shoot where we pretty much were ready for people not showing up.
Right.
We didn't have the crowd we wanted, but shout out to those that did show up.
Yeah, I think that's another thing, not to cut you off on that, but the filmmaking part, getting people to commit, I guess. What do you think about that part of, like, you know, just because it takes a lot of people to get it, you know, get the production done in general. You know, it can't just be me, it can't just be you. It takes a lot of individual, you know. And what do you think about even getting people to come in on a production like that? What is that?
It's very hard to do, and I get it because no one's getting paid for it. So I get it.
That's a fact.
There's even been shoots where there is pay and people don't show. Maybe it's not enough for what they got going on, but it's a challenge. I think it's very hard to get people extras on indie films, our type of indie film, where there's like zero money. You know what I mean?
All the money's going to the production basically.
Everything.
Nobody's getting anything, right?
I get it. So when people do show, it's that much more of a blessing to me, you know. And we made it work. As a matter of fact, the DJ showed up, our original DJ,
right?
And he had an emergency, and he had to bounce out, and then we made it work with Tony.
With the Tony, It had a whole nother deal, which kind of spun the story off, which actually made the story a little bit more in depth. Remember, because the original time we shot that, The original DJ, I'm sorry, I can't remember his name right now, but the original DJ, we had him come out.
Thomas Robles.
Oh, that was
right.
I don't remember. I really don't. I got to go back. That was G13's buddy.
Oh, no. I take that back. Thomas was the original guy that day. The guy we had before that with the long hair.
Yeah, that's what it was.
I forgot cat's name.
I forgot the cat's name. Yeah. But I remember the story comes in where he doesn't want to do it.
Right.
And then he comes back, he doesn't want to do it.
Right.
But then we end up just cutting it where he doesn't want to do it, which kind of made the film,
right,
I won't say a little more dangerous, but it made it look a little bit more, I mean, it wasn't in the script, but it was something that kind of worked out in balance, I thought.
Yeah, I'm a big believer in layers. That was another layer. It wasn't intentional, but layers to films, like what kind of shoes does he wear, even though we don't see the shoes? Mm-hmm. I mean, stuff like that, layers. So we built on the loss of the original DJ. We built that extra scene at Urges, right, where we killed off that DJ.
Right.
Is that what
that's
we
right.
did? Yeah, we killed off that
DJ. That's right. Okay, right.
And that was another layer.
Another layer.
You know what I mean? That was unintentional. So,
I didn't think about that, actually.
So altogether, there was 3 DJs.
There's 3 DJs.
Yeah.
And then, well, I don't get whatever, but.
And we had him come back, didn't we, and say he's not down to be involved in the next one. So that cleaned that up.
You're right. It kind of, that's why I said that unintentionally kind of cleaned up why he didn't show up, whatever. So I thought that was pretty interesting. Okay, hold on. Let me see.
Shout out to Phil Wang too for letting us do the voiceovers.
I'm getting to that one too. So why is the sound experience important to you in the film?
This is just my opinion, but sound, like if I'm watching the Avengers Endgame and the sound is bad, but the shots are beautiful, I'm more prone to not watch it. If it's the other way around, I'm more prone to stick around and listen to the audio than I would to stick around and watch bad video, right? So I think sound is, I mean, I don't know which one's more important. They're probably even keel for me. I'd like to have good sound. Even setting up this, remember we had some problems here, but sound is very important. Like every sound is meant to be there by design. So if we can have good sound, we might not have the resources to get great locations, right? Great effects, whatever the case is. But we have the opportunity to make the sound as good as it can be.
Right. So that was the first time learning this. So when Under the Underground was probably my first experience of really getting a film in. You taught me about the sound. Right? You said, okay, sound, somebody, and I didn't notice it because I go on YouTube. Sometimes those sound will be, whatever.
Right.
I'm out of there immediately. And I didn't notice that. It's like subconsciously I didn't notice I was doing that.
Right.
But I realized that the sound was important after you do it. But you add different effects besides the sound that's in there. So it's not only capturing the sound of what's happening in the moment, but you add more sound into it after that.
Yes. And by no means am I an expert in sound or anything. I'm just talking from my experience. I'll add things like maybe an airplane flying by that has nothing to do with the story, but it's a layer. A layer of the movie that we can make happen with just sound. Right. You know what I mean? There's an airplane outside.
Right.
So wind or the rattling of a chain that's down the hall that has nothing to do with the story. To me, all that's very important because it's an extension of the movie.
So when we shot Under the Underground, I noticed that when we were there, you were already pre-thinking of the sound during the shoot, right?
Right.
So is that something that you also do in pre-production? Do you actually go into pre-production thinking, okay, the story is, let's say, a kind of espionage type of story. So I'm going to need these type of particular sounds, or is that post?
That's post. But I already knew going into Under the Underground and a few other ones we did, Knuckles, another one we did called Haunt. I already know we're not using any of the sound there because you can't control it. Cars driving by, people honking. So I already knew we were going to ADR all of it. And once I ADR all of it, now I can add whatever I want. Sound-wise.
Right.
So I knew we'd go over to Phil's and do the ADR stuff. So that day of the shoot, we had that part freed up. You know what I mean? So I can sit there and go, all right, Brian, walk to the left or walk to the right, during the shot, because I know it's not going to be used, right? So.
See, and that's the first time I noticed. See, like I said, that was the first experience shooting, so I never noticed that was. Like, I didn't know, now I'm looking at the movies and I'm realizing that, okay, there's a sound program or there's a sound whatever. But before I never noticed that. Like, okay, even I think there's some parts where doors opening and things. Like, I didn't know that's added after, or me personally, I didn't know this interest, whatever. So it's kind of interesting that filmmaking touch.
Like when Ed grabbed Urge by the and rolled him.
But then you added
add everything. Rolling the wheels of the chair to the leather on the chair to everything, so I can control all of that if I do it that way. You know what I mean?
He said, "Now ADR." So we ADR'd at Phil's house, correct?
Correct.
Phil did come the first day of the shoot. Was that?
Did he? I don't remember. Probably.
I think
Larry was there too.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I remember. I'm not sure. Sorry, Phil, if you weren't there the first day, but I thought you were. But on that particular, so you already have the scenes cut out for everybody, right? Mm-hmm. And you have everybody come back in, and when we go back and look at the film, and then we try to mimic that,
right?
Well, how did you learn that technique, or how was that something that you came across when you were doing your?
Just effing up, messing up over and over, and then try to get your own rhythm. Now, the stuff we did at the hotel, we probably didn't need to ADR that because we were controlled. Yeah. So, but anything outdoors or anything, even in the warehouse, just I know from past experiences. I shot at a Lake Elsinore once, and I had to deal with boats, planes, water skiers. It was crazy, man. So. Just try to avoid that.
You learn after that over there. So now, okay, sorry, but I'm going to keep on the sound a little bit. But when you're going in, you pretty much going to take all sound of the video. So when we're shooting, I know we use some of the stuff, like I know, like I said, the hotel. So you already think, so are you looking at the video is going to be blank? It's nothing. It's blank canvas. All you're getting is the visuals at that point.
Yeah, you're editing the movie twice, essentially. And then actually a third time when you blend both sides together. So that's good. You look at it like that.
That's wild.
At least for me.
So what are your thoughts about building a movie around a music video? So this is not necessarily, it's a music video encapsulated in a movie. What do you think? What are your thoughts about doing something like that?
Oh, I love it. It's a great challenge. You know what I mean? To build off of it, because with your song, Under the Underground, we were able to build more people breaking into the doors, trying to come in and get you guys. You can build all that based off whatever story you want.
Yeah. I actually, I come from an era like where you do the two, musically, I'm a musician as well, but like come from an era where you'll blend two music videos together, or you'll do an extended, even like the Michael Jackson Moonwalker type of deal or whatever. So I come from that, that type of era. When I'm coming up making music and I see stuff like that, it was like, oh man, I would love to do something like that. So Under the Underground is actually my cousin's, I'm just giving my cousin G13. That's his concept. That was his thing. He used to say, there's 3 stages in music. You are either, a superstar, where everybody knows you. You're underground, where people are starting to know you, and then you're under the underground, where you're just trying to get it going or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So I thought that was clever. Like, yeah, because we weren't nothing at the time. But I think to use that concept and then to build a story around it. And I think the story that we have is kind of, I won't say different. Well, it's not even that different. Maybe there's other stories like that. But I think it's intriguing to use the music in that as a part of the story. You know what I mean? It's kind of like a character, if you don't.
Right.
Whatever. So.
And we put the song in the movie.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah. So.
Which actually all the action happens at that point too, which is kind of whatever. So, what is lighting? How is lighting important to you, and how does it actually affect the mood as you're watching? So you're already gonna say everything cinematic. That's your, but how does lighting add to that?
It'll set the tone, set the mood. Maybe a dark, long hallway still needs to be lit somehow. Mm-hmm. So there's a challenge there. And, to be honest, I have a couple of guys that do that essentially for me. Mike and Larry at times have done that, and they're great at it. So the great thing for me is I say, hey, this is what I'm looking for. They handle it,
Right.
I don't have anything really to do with that.
I got you.
You know what I mean? So I'm thankful that I know people that do. So that's vital. Lighting is vital, especially the concert scene, the way it looked.
Yeah, it looked kind of a darkish, but it had that,
And it was daylight. Remember, I went up on the roof and covered
the tarp up there, because it had a sunroof or a sky or something like that, where the sun was coming in. Yeah, so it did look really dark.
Yeah, no, for sure. And that was daylight. That was daytime.
Yeah. And then I even think the crowd, the lighting kind of helped give us more crowd. Maybe look, or I don't know, just kind of make the crowd look a little bit more.
Yeah. I mean, another example of the sound. Remember, we did that scene in the office there with LJ.
Right.
Nobody else was there. It was a different day.
Right.
But when he opened the door up,
the music is in the background.
Faded in and faded down. Like that's the kind of stuff that I love to do. You know what I mean? So
as far as the movie making process, is it more interesting because there's a complete process. We already talked about the sound, we talked about the lighting, we talked about the story. So where, I guess, is in the process? Where's your favorite part of setting that up?
When we're done shooting, so when I get home,
okay,
then I can bring it to my world. You know what I mean? That's the favorite part.
Post-production, then.
Yeah.
How do you pull everything that you want from pre-production to actual production day to make it fit on post-production? Is that and how long is that process?
It could take months. For me, I have to understand that when we go shoot, it's nothing like I planned. When you get it home, it's nothing like I thought it would be or hoped it would be.
Right.
So you got to deal with that. And a lot of times it's better than what you hoped.
Right, right. Okay.
Based on what you do editing wise. So that's my favorite part. That's my wheelhouse, I think, at least in my opinion.
So the day before the shoot, what are you doing?
Getting all this stuff together, charging batteries and clearing cards. Calling you guys, making sure
everything's still
everything's
set to go.
Cool.
We actually had a cancellation the night before.
Yeah, what was up with that?
Yeah, there was. The girl. I don't know who the girl was. Oh, I do know who she was. But she didn't want to come out because she thought the area was dangerous.
Yeah,
or whatever. Which I thought was like, I guess
Well, there was a shooting during your concert, so
yeah. That's true. That's very true. She would have been that scene. No, she wouldn't have been that scene. That wasn't her scene.
No, okay.
Yeah, I don't think about that. But yeah. So anyway, okay, so let's talk about that. How do you, the day before or something, or right before your production, something catastrophic happens? Mm-hmm. Still got to shoot. How do you do that?
I'll give you a great example. We did one at that Lake Elsinore one. The dude, I'm not going to name names. Anyways, he cancels the day before.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're shooting at a lake the next day. And he gives me some excuse, man.
Right.
That he's up north. Stuck up there. I think he's up in Frisco or something.
Okay.
So I called his bluff. I said, "Hey, I'll pay for your ticket to
get that
come
fly?
Come on. Oh, yeah. Okay. So you got to deal with it. So I rewrote something that night, and we shot something to clean it up, kind of like we did with the DJ.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So I I expect all that now.
Yeah.
Before I didn't. Before I'm like, what are we gonna do?
I think the show scene taught me to expect probably the worst, because I had invited to do when we did the show part. I had invited. I don't know, it was 60, 70, 80 people, and I get a chunk of them confirmed. I'll come through, whatever. So I'm expecting a pretty decent crowd.
Right.
And then, like you said, the night of, it's, a couple people. And shout out to the people that showed up, what I'm saying? Of course, shout out. And shout out to people that came back again, and showed up. So I appreciate that. But it taught me to say, hey, maybe everything's not going to flow how you think it's going to flow. I think that's the big deal.
And that's part of my driving force too, is to finish it for those that came.
Yeah, I can see that. Okay.
That's part of it, because I've talked to a lot of people, actors, directors, whatever the case may be, that don't ever see the stuff that they did.
Yeah,
they still haven't. It's been
that's
years.
True. I have heard a couple people say, I have not seen any of this, or somebody shot that, never saw this, or whatever. Right?
I love to give people their reels, their clips. Even if we're not done, I'll have their clips, their reels done, so they can never say that, these guys, they didn't finish. I like to finishing shit, whether it comes out good, bad, or indifferent. Finish it. Yeah, finish the shit.
Favorite part of any project is a finished project. Like, I don't care, like you say, good, bad, or indifferent. Just to know that a lot of people start a project sometimes.
Right.
And they won't ever get to the finish line. To know that after you finish one, then sometimes you finish another one, and you finish another. Like, we've finished, I don't know how many projects or whatever. Yeah. And each time it doesn't get old to me. It doesn't get old to a point where it's like, oh, okay, well, we finished that one. Yeah. Like, every time it's just as exciting as the first time of finishing a project. I don't know what it is about the completed project to me, but it feels like, okay, all that hard work
is done.
You know what I mean? Like you said, there's a project after this.
And a lot of it's reputation too.
That's true.
That's true. If you don't finish stuff, I'm like, oh man, Brian, I don't know about working with him again because he didn't finish. Vice versa with me. You know?
Last 7 projects, ended up didn't get finished. I look at that too. Actually, and that's whatever. But people that I have worked with prior to I place them in a certain category of where the project's going to be at. Like, okay, well, if I work with this person, there's a good chance that I'm going to end up finishing the whole thing, or maybe I'll get half of the work done. This person, whatever. I know we got our crew that we work with, and I know for a fact that when that's done, that's right. That's solid. Like, that, you don't have to worry about anything that you whatever. But there's other people that you work with. Sometimes you just know They're only going to go so far.
Right.
So you know that you have to finish up the rest part of that. You know what I mean?
And another challenge for me, and just like most people, is I got to go to work.
Right.
So you really got to frame it where you have the time and the energy to do it. Because there's a lot of times I get home from work and I finally sit down in there. It's hard for me to stay awake.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, it's
That's
tough.
the same problem because I have a job. We're super busy, whatever. So I work like literally like last couple I was working like I did like 16 days straight. Monday to Saturday. I was working about 11 hours on 6 of those days, and then a couple hours on Sunday, or whatever. And then you get done, and like I said, I'm in the process of putting together like kind of a thing where you can showcase all the videos, the KayATick style, or whatever. So same thing, you get done at 6. I'll go to the gym right now because my daughter called me fat, so I got to get down my weight.
Right.
I go to the gym, I get home, like, I don't really want to.
Right.
I'm done. You know what I'm saying? Whatever. But I'm like, you know what? Just do an hour at least something. I try. But sometimes I'm not gonna lie. Some days it's not happening. Like you get done dinner, whatever, all that stuff. I'm just not. I don't have it in me. I don't know to get it done. So day 1 of production. All right, day 1 is we're at the hotel. I think Ontario Hotel.
Uh-huh.
All right, what did you wake up? What's going on?
When I saw the building and everything, I'm like, oh, this is cool. It's controlled. It's inside. Top floor?
Yeah, we were in a conference room. I think
we're up there.
We're up there. It was up there because it had a good view.
I was excited. Yeah, we were able to sit at the table. There's photos of us sitting and discussing things,
right?
Which I love. Shout out to Kirk, who was there as well.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. So day 1 started off well.
Day 1 I thought day 1 was good. Like I said, we got a chance to go into the room. It was really cool to see. It was interesting to watch because I had the script was like it's kind of like a skeleton, bare bone script. It wasn't completely, the words weren't in like concrete, whatever. But it was interesting to watch actors engage, add what they wanted to, put their kind of character, and then you kind of see something develop. So that was the first time for me. I'm not gonna lie, where I wrote something down, got a story going on, then I'm watching people literally do what was in my brain. Like that blew my mind. I'm not gonna lie, it blew my mind. Yeah, I was like, wait a minute, okay. I see, Bella, I'm like, I picture that in my mind. Like, it's blowing my mind that whatever's happening, you're catching everything on film, you're talking to Ed, you're getting in it. I'm literally like, that's kind of like when I kind of fell in love with that moment. Like, oh, man, this is different, whatever. So, like I said, are you excited day 1, your production? Like, what is, on every film, is it like that? Or you get used to it after some point?
No, I was hyped because we did that. Then we went to the alleyway, right?
Yep, went to the alleyway with the graffiti wall.
Then back to your spot.
Right.
Shout out to Gabriel, who did the blood effects.
Right. Yeah, definitely.
No, I was hyped up.
That was
I was hyped up. What did we shoot the concert months after or weeks?
That was the weeks after. I set that up a little bit later. It was a couple weeks after. When we were doing the production, I remember I wanted it to look super clean. So I don't remember, but I was really like, I'll pay for make sure we get a dope spot here. I want to make sure that the locations weren't just in houses or whatever. I want to make sure that it had a dope look to it, whatever. So I think before we ran up to that, like I was doing it in pieces. I wasn't necessarily had everything set up. So it was like, okay, I'll get the airport hotel. I think that's where whatever, and I'll rent that. But then I knew I wanted to shoot the concert scene. I didn't know where yet, whatever. That's how I didn't meet Vince of that. So I was still looking in the process or whatever. I think once we did that, and I saw how good day 1 came out, I really wanted the scene to look pretty dope. You know what I'm saying? I was like, I really want this to look pretty cool. And that's when I found Vince's spot and looked in there, walked through, and was like, oh man, this is.
Vince was there?
Yeah, this is my first time I met. Whatever, we came
Shout
through.
Out Vince.
Shout out to Vince. Yeah, Vince became one of my good friends after that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so it was like that was pretty dope. To, like I said, not even rent the business, and then we did a lot of stuff out of Vince's spot as well.
Oh yeah.
But, So I just thought that was pretty incredible to see. Like I say, even the visions of that, the whole show, the whatever, all that stuff in my mind. It was like, yo, I can't believe.
Right. Yeah, that was dope. Right.
So what cameras? I know you upgraded since then, but what were the camera that you used, and what was the process of getting those as far as this film?
We had the 7D Canon at the time, and shout out to Larry for bringing his, and also being in the movie. But it was a 7D, and I don't remember much about it. I'll forget. Yeah. You know what I mean? But yeah, at the time it was the Canon 7D, so they did well.
I know you were going right. If that was the last one, you said that was the last one before you get I think your cameras were coming. They were in the mail. They were on their way or whatever. But by the time we were shooting that one, but
ended up getting the Panasonic G7s after that. Yeah.
So now, do you think that the camera is the more expensive the camera, the better the film, or do you think just as long as you get the proper footage, or do you think I guess what is?
No, I think obviously the high end cameras are still going to give you a much prettier look than maybe one that isn't as high end. But having said that, you can still I can take a low end camera and still make something cool. You know what I mean? So there's a couple of ways to look at it. You know, I don't think me going to buy a $30,000 camera means I'm gonna be this great filmmaker, but
just capture better. Like the footage that you get in might be a little bit more
be crispy. You know what I mean? But when I get to a point, I want to use the high end cameras that can get you what the shots you want under the lighting and make it look prettier and whatever else you got to do. But I mean, people are making dope movies with iPhones and stuff.
Right. I was gonna ask you that next.
It's all good. It just depends what you want to do with it.
Yeah. I was gonna ask you, what do you think about the people making films with iPhones and just need a camera? Then
get it. Yeah. Right. Exactly. So we're all presented the opportunity of the new technology and use it. Use what you can and what you have access to. So
what did you learn? I know you learned every part you shoot to the film, but let's say the Under the Underground specifically, you got what was your final learning experience from that after you got done? You cut it, it's all finished, it's in the bag.
Under the Underground?
Yeah.
I learned to never, ever work with you again. No, man. I thought it came out cool, dude. I was hyped up. And was that our first one we did?
That was the first one,
Yeah. No, man, I was hyped. We started talking about the next one after.
Yeah, right after. Yeah, that one really, that one really started.
I was very happy with that, considering some of the drawbacks we had. We actually went back, remember, and did some close-ups of you and 13 on the stage at night. Yep.
Yeah, before they took the stage out, right? We had to go in there. No, we didn't even have the stage right. He already took the stage, so we just got close.
Oh, you stood up? Oh, okay.
We just stood next to the scaffolding going down.
That was dope. Yeah. No, that was cool, man.
Yeah, we had the puzzle looks, whatever.
Yeah. As Mandy was walking up. Yeah.
Right.
Shout out Mandy.
Yeah, so that was another thing. I know a lot of people were talking about, there's a part, like I said, Mandy is in there, she's walking up. But you shot that, I want to say 6-7 different times, right? Different views, different angles. It wasn't just, you got it, you know what I mean? So now that's the first time I ever saw anything like that. What was the thought process of that? Like I never thought of before, Alex. I've never thought of getting the walk up or the behind the back of them walking up, like just the different angles of that. I would think if I'm gonna shoot it my first time, I'm probably just gonna get walking up and then go to the next scene. But you, like I said, you get the walk up, the legs, the behind the back, over the, you know what I mean? You're really getting every angle, and then you're cutting that in.
I visualized that particular walk in a lot before we shot, and I just wanted to get the coverage just in case I didn't like what we got.
Right.
So you get too much. Sometimes it's overkill, but
I think because that's one of my favorite parts of the movie. Right? So I'm not gonna whatever. I want people to go check it out, but I think that's one of my favorite parts, like the demeanor. You capture the demeanor of it, you know what I'm saying, and then just the pace of it. I guess I don't know if that makes sense, but it's just like it takes the movie. It kind of the movie's kind of up, and it kind of brings it all back to this center point, whatever.
I would do that so much better now, but
So that'd be like, so I guess you kind of learned a little bit like how to. I bet you would, because just how much we shot since then.
Do, right?
Oh my goodness, yeah.
But no, that scene came out dope. Yeah.
The scene is still kind of like, oh, it's kind of chilling. She gave a great, I hate rap performance. Biggest disappointment in the production.
Maybe the actress canceling the night before, but we had that covered. Right. You know, I look at it now like there really wasn't any disappointments because the fallbacks we had on it turned out to be positive,
beneficial. Yeah, exactly.
So
right.
No, I didn't really see much.
So as the story goes, how do you think the next part of the story goes? If it were to continue, we're gonna make this a full feature. It's 90 minutes. It's Bad Boys 1, 2, and 3 all together. What's the next episode of the whole story in your mind?
Well, the end is they're breaking in to come
right
and do what with you. Exactly.
So they come to break us out, but in my vision, whatever, it's kind of like the all-out melee because you're breaking into basically you're breaking into the beehive. This is where all the people are. So in my vision, it's I see like not only do they got to come get us, we kind of got to get our way out of it. So like that's kind of I see like it's just the whole.
I will see there. I would flip that. I would have you guys running and hiding wherever within the building with Ed. Now Ed's got to team up with you just to get out alive. I don't remember if what's her name was in it.
She was, yeah, I think
Bella.
Yeah, Bella, because that's how she starts off in the beginning and the end.
That's what I would do. I'd have you guys within the insides of the buildings, and then you guys got to work together, and then
I like that.
And get out. Yeah.
What are the most important factors about the finished product? So everything's done. It's in the bag. Now you're trying to bring it to market. What is the?
I think a good trailer, a couple good promos are important, and just a good presentation of it. I think from start to finish. I think the opening scene to the end was a good bookend.
Right.
Stuff like that. So that's important.
Yeah, I think. See, this is where I'm trying to figure out the benefit of the finished product. Like, I know everybody has movies. I know everybody's watching, kind of gaining for entertainment or attention. So I'm like, what is the best way to show some attention or get awareness, basically? Like, how do I get awareness to people to let them know it's out here? That's been my problem with, like, figuring out, like, the process is done, the movie's out.
Yeah.
How do I get awareness to people to know, like, hey, you want to? That's been my thing now. How do I get people to know they want to watch this? I know they want to.
Shit, I wish I knew, brother. I really do. I wish I knew, because if I knew, I'd be making movies in Manhattan or something.
Yeah. Well, I think I'm learning. I'm kind of figuring out. I'm realizing, but it's the only thing with us, like I said, with the independent, you get to do whatever you want to. With the big films, the major whatever, not only do they have $10 million or $100 million to make the film, they have another $100 million in marketing to make sure that you know it's out here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's, I think, the difference.
Money. I guess it all comes down to money.
Money, I guess.
Get it
I
out
think
there.
I could build awareness, though. Like I said, even tonight, me and Vince are going to go out there. I think talking to people, as I was telling, maybe connect with people face to face, maybe.
There you go.
Get some sympathy. Like, yo, please, I'm making movies out here, please.
Screenings are good.
Yeah. That because you actually held the screening, so that was actually pretty interesting. I thought that was pretty clever.
Did you go to that? Or?
Yeah,
okay.
I thought it was pretty clever how you had composed different films altogether.
Yeah, shout out to everybody.
Yeah. So actually, explain that. I don't think maybe people have ever seen that. I've never seen that done before. Even you had the movie poster in I went to the theater.
Yeah,
movie posters in the theater. Like went there. It's a nice movie experience too. You know what I mean? So
yeah, it's mostly for. I think we did 4 or 5 of them. I really did it for the people that were in it.
Right.
Because for me, I didn't really like to watch, my stuff like that.
Right.
Because I know that, the stuff that happened within on some of those, like, man, I wish this would have happened and that would happen. So it's primarily for the people that are in it to see themselves and bring their friends and family, whatever. So that's good. And again, it's reputation. Like, okay, he finished it. He screened it. So maybe we'll work with him again, type of thing.
I think the screening thing might be actually a way to, because I don't see many people do that, whatever. Actually, I don't see many people screen. I wonder, especially nowadays, how, I know theaters, I don't know this out there, but I don't know how many people are still going to theaters like that. I wonder if that might be a viable way to get more attention to it. But I don't know what is the process? You just call the theater and ask them?
Yeah, we called the theater, asked them. We went and scouted it out, me and Urge.
Okay.
And set up a day and a time and all that. So
nice. Okay. Yeah, that's pretty interesting.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
I thought it was pretty interesting, especially having all the. There's a lot of different films in there too. So, like I said, to see all the different films.
Yeah.
How do you decide what shots are needed when you're editing? How do you go through that? So there's a lot of footage all day, right? You go in there shooting hours and hours and hours. So how do you decide that this footage, this goes here or this doesn't go here?
It's all the feeling. Like for me, I don't really conform to, well, you need a wide here or you need a close here, you need this, you need that, it's what I want.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's if it looks good or feels good. If it doesn't, then I'll try something else. So it's just up to me, the feeling, and music helps build scenes for me.
Right. Okay.
So I could have a sequence cut a certain way, but then if I get a song later, I might change some stuff. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
Do you change, say you get it all edited and done, so do you go back and change stuff after you get it done? How many times do you go back? Once it's done, that's it?
No, I mean, if it's done and uploaded and maybe onto YouTube or something, then that's it.
That's it.
But no, I'll go back and change stuff. Like maybe a week later, I'll go back and, I don't like this. Or I'll see something that, I didn't even realize that.
Right.
I forgot about this angle or this clip. Let me try it.
And put it in.
A lot of stuff. For me, editing in editing, a lot of stuff comes by accident. Right. A lot of stuff comes by accident.
Interesting. Okay.
Yep. Absolutely. You might speed something up for a sequence, double the speed or triple the speed, and it goes too far, and so the clip you only wanted 2 seconds. Let's say it goes 4 seconds.
Right.
But as you watch it go the 4 seconds, it does something like, oh well, maybe it should go 4 seconds.
Right.
A lot of things. For me, a lot of things is accidentally.
Oh,
but you got to put it in time. You got to put in the hours.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So editing, because I don't edit anything close to whatever, but I've edited some of my stuff, and that is a process. That's not. That's just a process. Like, you know what I mean? Because like I said, for me, especially when there's so much footage or whatever, like, I'll start to edit. Like you said, I'll edit something, whatever, but I'm not as thorough, I guess. Like, once it's kind of in there or whatever, and I see something like, oh, that's really cool, man. I look back at the other one like, man, I don't want to touch it. I don't want to take this out, but this is much cooler. Right. I don't want to take it out though. You know what I mean? Like that's whatever. So
no, for sure.
How do you get the patience to sit there, literally through hours of editing, and then, like I said, get it done? That's to me, editing is a tough.
I think it just has to be in you. I don't think it's something you force.
Right. Okay.
Like when I go to sleep every night and I'm sitting there thinking about a cut. I mean, something ain't right up here. You know what I mean? I'm just thinking like, what would I do here? Okay, man, do I get up right now or just let it go? Let it rest. Usually I'll let it rest.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, like I said, it's just a feeling.
Day 2 production, I think that was at Urge's house. We shot the DJ scene.
Is that the added scene we did?
That's the added scene. So that might have been, maybe that's the added scene. The Day 2 was the first show. Then
was it? Okay.
Okay, maybe we did the
whatever one. Yeah.
That's when nobody showed up on there. So how do you prep on day 2? You already got the first day is great. All right, the first day we shot is in the bag. Day 2 is coming up. Is there any different production for day 2, or is it just we have this and the whatever? Now only have these shots left over.
Well, no, it's a confidence because we already shot the first stuff, so I'm not as worried about it as far as things going wrong. I just know now. Okay, we have that. We have to build now.
Right.
So whatever happens today, we got to get something out of it.
On top of that,
that's the thought process I go in. Honestly, man, I on shoots I can prepare. I did storyboards like for Urge's boot camp, but you take notes and what you want to do. You write stuff down. When it comes to the shoot, it's chaos usually. You don't know where your notes went. You don't remember what you wanted to do. You just go. Yeah, at least for me, you just go and just do it. So
maybe that process kind of works out a little bit better. Let's see. All right, and then day 3, I think our last day of production, we were at shot outside. So we actually shot. So that's I'm gonna kind of bring to that point. We shot a point where me and G13 meet the DJ for the first time. I think that's also we're shooting the end of the movie on the same day because we're using the outside of the building as the first time we meet, and then the inside of the building is where we're shooting the last part of it. So on those shoots, when you're doing that, are you actually planning, okay, we can use certain parts of this? Are we going to shoot a scene, opening scene, closing scene here, this and this, but we can also utilize that? Are you planning that as well on the day of the shoot as well?
I might plan it, but it's not set in concrete. We shot the outside stuff, right, that day? And then did we shoot the LJ stuff that same day? Is that?
I think we shot the LJ stuff that same day as well.
So what was the ending we shot that day?
The ending was not that. I don't know if it was that day. That's when we had the group come in. No, was that? I mean, that might have been the next. That was because we had the group come in because we were using the inside of the warehouse. As the party scene. So that's where LJ comes up with the office scene for LJ. A shout out to my guy LJ. You know what I'm saying? He office scene for LJ. We use the back part for the show part. Right. And then me and 13 meet the DJ out front of the whatever. So we literally like the whole building. We use that whole part of that building.
Right. That's right. Okay.
For different parts of the movie. You know what I'm saying? Is there actually different segments of the movie?
Yeah. No, I didn't plan to use any of that anywhere else, like specifically. But I knew it was something we could use because that might be my favorite shot or one of my favorite shots or scenes because of the light, that amber light coming off of the street lights.
Yeah. Okay, I do remember that. Right.
That was dope. That night outside, that was cool. I enjoyed that. That set a tone too because that was at night and just the feel, the wind blowing.
How it looked. It did have a nice effect and look to it.
So.
All right. I think any other thing or whatever. Any closing thoughts on the Under the Underground production process?
No, let's keep it going, man. Let's try to build on that for sure.
All right. Well,
within our realm, within our resources, I guess,
I'm with that. So if you guys go check out the Under the Underground, we have a short film out there. All proceeds go to making that movie a full feature film for you. So watch this video here on YouTube. We're going to have a link in there as well. But this is actually going to have, you go watch the short film. It's out now. Like I said, go check it out. All proceeds go making that a full feature. So, all right.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate you.
All right, man. Thank you.